Now I know normally y'all see a picture on here, but damn it, I don't feel like putting it up. What's going on, people? What's going on? Hey, you are now tuning in to the Heavy Hitters Live. Let's go. As y'all already know, man, this is the Heavy Hitters Live. I am your host, the six man K Styles. And you already know to the stage left in formation, we got the Senator Palpatine, Mad Mike
I
Sports.
don't think I should be doing that one. Should I be doing the should I really be doing the
You try to do Fist of Furious?
Sabu? So should because there's some stuff going on in the world there. I don't think I should be doing the Sabu. Should I be doing it?
No. We good. We
All
good.
right,
Leave it
I thought
alone.
so.
Leave it
Okay.
alone. Leave it alone.
Leave it alone? All right.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. And all the way to the end of the screen, as you already know, we got the minister, the calm before the storm, Mr. Jew Talk Sports in the building. And right below him, we have the summer here nightmare, the Don himself.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey man, we got two special guests with us, man, as you already know. And we do it at the Heavy Hitters. My friends, let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, I'm Easton Freeze. I'm a reporter and beat writer covering the Tennessee Titans here in Nashville.
Hey, and I'm JT Runke. I'm producer of a lot of our shows here at Broadway Sports Media and a writer here in Nashville, Tennessee, covering the Tennessee Titans.
All right. Hey, gentlemen, appreciate you coming in with us, man. I know this is Falcons Titans matchup, very interesting matchup.
The Arthur Smith game.
Yeah, pretty much.
But before we get into that, I got a question for y'all too.
Sure.
Now, y'all are Nashville natives, right?
I am. JT's from Cincinnati.
I'm from Cincinnati. But I've lived in Nashville.
Oh, I have another Ohio boy. Okay, all right.
Okay, all right. So I got a question.
Okay.
What is the best place to eat Nashville hot chicken in Nashville?
This mother.
It's a heavily debated topic. I'm not actually a huge hot chicken person myself.
Yeah, no, he is the taste palate of a child.
Wow.
That's aggressive. I don't know. I wouldn't say that actually. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Hattie B's is really popular.
I like Helen's. Helen's is
also very popular.
Y'all ain't never been to Prince's before?
I've been to Prince's. It's a little outside of where I live, but I've been there. So like quality wise, like probably Helen's and then Prince's and then Hattie B's, but like I most frequent Helen's and Hattie B's.
Wait a minute. Duh, you asked about the chicken spot and you already had one. You know what?
I've been in that.
You went to every
He's like the guy that asked the random question.
It ain't
you're like, I don't know.
I've been.
Because they're setting you up because they want to tell you something. Like, well, my answer. You know what I mean?
But I've been there before, and I also been to Hattie B's too. They got the Hattie B's here in Atlanta. It's over there on Moreland.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Good chicken.
So if y'all coming to the game, you know, the game is in Nashville, so right.
This is true. It is in Nashville.
And if y'all come to Atlanta anytime, just there's Hattie B's on Moreland.
Okay.
So y'all feel welcome at home at that spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a free plug for the restaurant. Hey, like you said, hey, if y'all go there, just make sure y'all hashtag the Heavy Hitters for sending y'all over there.
Yeah, I got reward points over there too. So,
and then he got reward points for it too. What are we doing here? All right, man. What's going? Hey, look, man. Like I said, matchup: Tennessee Titans, Atlanta Falcons. Man, like you said, this is gonna be an intriguing matchup. I kind of I kind of know that Tennessee's kind of go through the fire sale right now. Like you said, you got the Kevin Byard thing to Philadelphia. Now it's rumors that DeAndre Hopkins is on the block and Derrick Henry is on the block. Just from y'all standpoint, what do you think is really going on here over there at Tennessee, man? Is it Easton, JT? How y'all
I'll start. Yeah. So that's the question right now, right? Is this team going through a full-blown fire sale, full-blown rebuild mode, trade deadline? And that's obviously a question we'll have answered in the next couple of days, less than a week now until the trade deadline next Tuesday. I don't know if moving Kevin Byard necessarily convinces me that they are trying to sell everything and everybody. From the people that I've spoken to, the things that I know from inside the facility, there's a lot of folks in and around the Titans that aren't convinced that this team is going into full rebuild mode in that way. They certainly are in a rebuilding stage of their team building, cycle right now for sure. And that'll be, for the next couple of years or until you find a quarterback. That's how it works in the NFL. But Kevin Byard moving him to Philadelphia, that's something that they kind of laid the groundwork for in the summer with his contract situation. They were going to move on from him after this season anyways. And so this was kind of the last exit on the Kevin Byard highway if you want to get anything in return. And they they still do need some more draft capital in the coming years. The former GM, John Robinson, made some ill-advised trades, and they, were in a more competitive era in the past couple of seasons, and so they sold, some future assets, and that bill is now coming due a little bit. It certainly is it's a 50-50 thing right now. The Kevin Byard move could be the first of a couple that they make, and they do go full fire sale mode. We don't know for sure. Obviously, they're not saying that. They're saying adamantly that they're not, but what is the coach going to say? That, we're selling everything off and we're trying to lose from now on? Like, that's not something they're going to say out loud. Knowing Mike Vrabel, certainly as a coach, his, the way that he operates, his philosophy, he's not going to be interested in doing anything but trying to win each and every game. And I don't get the impression that they're necessarily interested in moving some of those big pieces, like you mentioned, in DeAndre Hopkins or Derrick Henry. The Derrick Henry rumors you're hearing a lot of right now. There's a report today from our colleague Buck Rising here in Nashville talking about how the Ravens are the most seriously interested in him. And I'll say this: I would be surprised if, first of all, I would be surprised if they get a deal done with him in general to send him anywhere, because they aren't interested in moving him for pennies. And at this point, there aren't many teams in the league that are interested in sending much in return for him. And so I'm not sure there's a deal to be struck there. But if they do end up moving him, I'd imagine it would come before he plays in this upcoming game against the Falcons. If he plays in week 7, I feel like it's indicative of them wanting to continue to keep him around. And if they are going to be looking to, put the ball in the hand of one of their young backup quarterbacks and see what they have in those guys for the remainder of the season, he's a really valuable kind of player to have around to take some of that workload off of some of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing everything you said on the Kevin Byard front, he was the player on this team that was most likely to get moved that would still bring some value to a team. DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry do still have substantial money on their contracts, so that's also another piece that you have to think about. And like Easton said, towards the Ravens, like the Ravens only have 6-7 million and would have to figure out how to move some of that money. So even if a team was interested, how are they going to figure out the money with that is also an important piece of the puzzle. Kevin Byard, like he said, an aging safety on the wrong side of 30. Obviously, he was a team leader, but really wasn't putting up the production that he had in years past. So, like, he was the player that was going to get moved if they were going to make a move on the deadline. And to his point, like Derrick Henry, I think would be one of the players most likely to get moved before the Titans play the Falcons. But any other move, I think, would really be indicative after this game this week.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to get to keys of victory here. And like I said, how we do it over here, fellas. Like I said, we're going to rotate. We got Falcons key, and then like I say, either Easton or JT, however y'all want to go next. Y'all can give us
Okay.
y'all key on what y'all think Tennessee needs to do to win this game. So, Jew, we're gonna let you go ahead kick us off with your key to victory for the Atlanta Falcons versus Tennessee Titans.
All right, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet with this one. As they mentioned, this is a game where Arthur Smith is going back to Tennessee, his old stopping grounds before he became our head coach. But we know what the last 2 weeks, what we've been experiencing here in Atlanta, and it's all going to be around protecting the football. We got to protect the football in this game. These turnovers have really been killing the Atlanta Falcons, whether it's fumbles, whether it's interceptions. In this game, we're going to definitely have to protect the ball. That's going to be the name of the game. Over there in Tennessee, you guys know I love the trenches. Jeff Simmons is one of those guys that I wanted the Falcons to go after. We end up going in and getting Onyemata, which he's played really well this year for us, and Calais Campbell. But I love me some Jeffrey Simmons. So on that defensive side of the ball, we've already heard Arthur Smith talk about physicality. This game is going to be a physical game. The Titans want to get after you in the run game. They want to get after you in the trenches. So in this game, Desmond Ridder, ball security, Bijan Robinson, the running backs, CP, Tyler Algier, protect the football. In this game, the Tennessee Titans are one of those rough, rugged teams. As they talked about Mike Vrabel, we know he's a former New England Patriot. Those New England Patriot teams were known for their defense. So in this game, I really think it's going to be another black and blue type game, similar to last week. Last week, the Buccaneers came into the with a top 10 defense on their home field. There's going to be another tough road game for our Atlanta Falcons. 2 back-to-back bruising type games, because last week was another game that was a physical game. So you guys are coming off of a bye in the Tennessee Titans. So I really feel like the Titans in this situation have the upper hand because they kind of have been resting and they had 2 weeks to prepare to watch this Atlanta Falcons team. So I definitely think in this game it's going to come down to who's the more physical team, but protecting the football is what it's all about for our Atlanta Falcons, because we're moving the ball between the 20s. But when we get in the red zone, for whatever reason, we've been kind of snake bitten. I think in this game, you're going to have to use Desmond Ridder's legs. But for whatever reason, it seems like when we do those RPOs, teams to seam, they forget that Desmond Ridder is a runner. For whatever reason, he's had multiple times where he gets around the edge. He scored last week on the first touchdown in the red zone. I feel like in this game, that's what it's going to come down to. But it's going to come down to ball security. So that's what I'm focusing on this game, because we've went over 400 yards, total yards, like 3 or 4 games this season. And we've come away last week with 16 points, which is unacceptable. We should be scoring at least 20 plus points every single game. If you look at Ritter's completions, he put up 300 yards in back-to-back games. And this, we're doing our thing between the 20s. We just got to settle down. When we get in the red zone, score touchdowns. And we heard Arthur Smith, that was one of the first things he said this week. Is like, if we turn the ball over, we're going to lose. It's just that simple. And we're not doing the simple things, which is just fundamental. So in this game, I'll say protect the ball. If we protect the ball, we can score touchdowns. We can move the ball between the 20s, but it's going to come down to protecting that football. And they have Desmond Ridder walking around somewhere in Flowery Branch holding the football with guys trying to punch it out. So I love that already, that they're getting ready for Sunday, because he will carry the ball on Sunday, and it will be a heavy dose of Tyler Algier, CP, and Bijan. I really feel like they're going to come out and play physical in this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy, I think, to forget that he's a capable runner when you have so many talented, dangerous other weapons on that team. So absolutely, that is something that the Titans are gonna have to keep in mind. I'll go first for the Titans. Biggest key to victory in this game, and you could argue for every football game that has ever been played, is winning in the trenches. And we've seen this year in particular, the Titans, a team that has in the recent past been known for being really dominant in the trenches, and it's what's led them to have a lot of success. They've kind of slipped a little bit in that capacity this year. The defensive front, obviously an element of this team that is seen as one of the strengths. It started the year pretty strong. In the past couple of games, they've been rather quiet, and so this is going to be an important game, I think, for them to get back on the map. But You take one game in particular this year for the Titans, they get absolutely trounced by the Browns a couple of weeks ago. They lose 27-3 in a really uncompetitive game. And you go back and you watch it trying to diagnose what went wrong. It's really that the Titans were getting handled in the trenches on both sides of the ball all day long. The Atlanta Falcons are a team kind of made in the Titans image a little bit with Arthur Smith at the helm, where they are really fantastic in the trenches, and a lot of their success is predicated on being able to win in the trenches. And they're set up in a way that I think it's going to push the Titans in that capacity. They're absolutely going to have to give whoever is under center plenty of time. Offensively, that offensive front has to hold up in pass protection. They've been really shaky in that capacity this year so far. Run blocking, not all that concerned, because the Titans are always at least adequate run blockers. And on the defensive front, yeah, just being sound with your run gaps, not playing peekaboo and getting beaten. That's the kind of thing that they're going to have to be disciplined in this game. If Atlanta comes out and is dominant in the trenches, I really don't care what else happens in the game. They're going to win the ball game, right? So that's the primary battle, I think, for this team in this game.
Okay.
All
right. Don, what you got?
All right, for us, the Falcons, my keys to victories is real simple. The penalties. I know Drew already talked about the turnovers that we had. I'm not gonna really touch on that because yes, that is a factor. But the penalties in crucial moments, we got to cut back on. We got to cut back on those things, and like the false starts and the holding calls. And I get it. We played on the road last week. And sometimes you go into other stadiums, it's home cooking. But we got to do better at not getting those penalties in those crucial moments, especially on third downs, third and shorts. They turn into third and longs. We need to get turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. Like we have to get a couple of.
We got 6 people in here. I don't need you taking all the keys like you take all the pizza. Okay.
Be quiet, man. Let me talk.
Man.
Turnovers. We need. I'm hoping for another show out game for Jesse Bates this week. So if we can get a couple of interceptions in this game, we should be fine. And this segues into my other key. Y'all ain't gonna like this. Y'all ain't gonna like this one. But we have to put pressure on Will Levis and Malik Willis. They're gonna be starting this week. So these are young quarterbacks. And I feel like with our defensive line, oh yeah, they're gonna be in the backfield all day long come Sunday. So if we can pressure Will Levis and have him panic, we'll get some turnovers for sure.
His name is Will. His name is Will. He already lost. Okay, just based off that.
Shut up, Mike. Shut up, Mike.
We're not going to take up real stupid. All right, another key on offense.
Oh, you already had 3 of them.
Man, you let Jew talk. Let me talk now.
Jew had one key.
You had 3. Somebody else. Good gracious.
He happy.
My last one I'm going to talk about. Time of possession. We need to run the ball and play keep away from the Titans offense.
That was
that's the point.
That was the point. That was the point. I love it.
I'm done.
You know we gotta get on his nerves, man. Hey,
Yeah,
JT,
Y'all ain't getting on my damn nerves.
He makes a good. I'm sure there were a lot of points there made, but the last one for sure definitely is a good point, and I'll elaborate on that one. And a key to this game is for at least both sides of the ball is stopping the playmakers on both of these teams. We'll start with the Titans real quick. Treylon Burks will be back this week, but we have yet to see him really emerge as that wide receiver 1 first-round pick that we honestly think he can be, but he has at times struggled, and I think he's going up against a pretty big matchup this week against that Atlanta secondary, so we'll have to see how he looks this week. But I mean, the main main person that you have to watch out for this week is DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think there will be any better friend for these two quarterbacks this week than DeAndre Hopkins, whether it's Will Levis or Malik Willis. DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a massive game, and I would not be surprised to see DeAndre Hopkins have 10 or 11 targets in this game and be a guy that plays a pivotal role. On the Atlanta side, so that's who the Falcons were really going to have to look to stop this week, because I think he may be in line to have a productive day. On the Falcons side, the Titans are really going to have to get after Bijan Robinson this week, and as you said, return to that dominant run defense that
as long as he doesn't have a bad case of the sniffles that they failed to report.
Yeah, right. Maybe Bijan will.
So did you think?
maybe as long as Bijan is feeling healthy enough and well enough to play, the Titans are going to have to limit him this week and return to that run stopping form that they can be. I think a big addition to that is getting their nose tackle Tier Tart back this week, who has been sorely missed the past couple of weeks in the run game. So getting him back will be a big key to this game. But obviously, it's time for Bijan really to, I think, in my opinion, to really show out as a running back. And I think he's going to have a great opportunity this week. Obviously, still has not scored a rushing touchdown on the season, which I'm sure has been frustrating at times. Yeah, he has not scored on the ground yet. He has 2 touchdowns receiving, but the Titans are going to have to continue to keep him out of the end zone this week if they want to win.
Okay, I thought I would have a key to victory, but
Don
took all of them.
Damn.
So I'm just gonna say it like this, man. Shoot, I'm gonna go for the neutral side on this one. Whoever can play 60-minute football is gonna win this game.
Simple.
That's about as bland.
That's simple as that. I'll say this. I'll say this.
Okay.
Should I do that?
Say your take. Say your take. Have it with your chest. Speak it with your chest.
Say it with his chest.
I feel like you're trying me. I feel like, well, it's not Sunday already. Okay. So this guy, running back, used to play for the Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks. Mm-hmm. He once stated that what he likes most about playing the running back position is when you run through a motherfucker's face. In his words, you run through a motherfucker's face over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But I need the opposite to happen. I need the Falcons linebackers to take it to Derrick Henry. I think this has to be a tone setter game because both of these teams are similar in their offensive style. They have to get the running game going and they have to have balance. And especially with a young quarterback like Will Levis and Malik Willis, those guys are going to need that. They're going to need a veteran running game, veteran running back, a veteran wide receiver to kind of help those guys get into a rhythm. But I think our linebackers have to. They have to set the tone. And I'm going to say that this guy is not Tyler Algier. It's not Bijan Robinson. It's not Drake London or Kyle Pitts. The guy for this Atlanta Falcons team is Cordero Patterson.
Yep.
He's the heart and soul of this team. This team I don't know what it is about it. They see him on the field. It just, I don't know if it's smile. I don't know if he likes to throw the ball to the fans. I don't know what it is, but he just does something for this team. So if you don't stop Cordero Patterson, it's going to be a long day for the Titans.
Definitely, I think a guy that gets overlooked for sure on this team, and I especially
Yeah.
yes, the different position, the J position on the Falcons team. And when Bijan was not playing last week, he was a big impact in this game, and I think that's a guy that gets overlooked. And then our last key, I guess we can kind of joint this one.
Sure.
Do you want to start it off here?
Sure. Yeah. The last key I think for this Titans team in this game in particular, assuming Ryan Tannehill isn't going to be able to go, is limiting the opportunities for young quarterbacks to cost them the game, right? To make costly mistakes. Whoever it is, and based on what we've heard, it sounds like it's going to be Will Levis primarily. Assuming it is him, first career action of any kind outside of the first preseason game of this season where he played half of it and then was injured in the other 2 preseason games. Like, you have no idea what you're going to get from the guy. And bright lights, big stage, at home. You've got to do your best as a coach when you're putting together the game plan, putting together the scheme this week to certainly, if you want to win the game, put in some opportunities for him to make a play. Absolutely. But making sure you do your best to find the easy buttons that you can hit for him. Find the things that are going to get him into a rhythm early. Give him some easy looks, some advantageous looks. Do what you can as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, to set him up for success early and often in a game where you need the easy buttons to be pressed.
I want to piggyback off about what Matt Mike said. I'm going back in history because I am a historian, and I'm looking at when the Saints played the Titans back in 2019.
Okay, I remember this game. Yep.
Why did I bring that up?
It's a great question.
All right. So if you guys don't know, we have Ryan Nielsen. He is our defensive coordinator now.
Okay. Yep, I get it now.
He was in New Orleans.
Yep. Right, yeah, I forgot about this.
In 2019, the Saints won that game. I think 38-28. But they neutralized, I believe, y'all run game.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Derrick Henry even did anything in that game, if I'm not for sure or not. But we have that same defense here in Atlanta. We're ranked 3rd in the league right now.
Right.
And I know Matt Mike said the linebackers should be stopping Derrick Henry. I'm gonna go on the limb, Matt Mike, and I'm gonna tell you, Derrick Henry's not gonna get past our D line. You got guys like David Omayata, you got Calais Campbell, you got Taquan Graham, Grady Jarrett. I can keep going. Our D line against the run, like we have been getting better. I don't know what's our stat right now, K-Style, as far as our run defense. We're either average or a little bit above average now. I know
I think it was like last I checked, it was like 15th or something like that.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, we was like 20 or something, but it has gotten like it done improved so much. So I don't even really see Derrick Henry is going to be a factor in this game. And y'all also brought up Hop. It's pick your poison when it comes to our DBs. Like welcome to the Falcons penitentiary because they on lockdown. They lock everything down. So you got, Jeff Okuda, AJ Terrell, like these guys, they really gonna give Hop the business come Sunday. That's just my prediction right there.
Strong.
I'm gonna say this right now: Tennessee Titans ain't slick. We talking all this stuff about Derrick Henry, the main guy that I'm looking at, and I'm paying close attention to is Tajay Spears.
There you go. Yeah, this guy knows.
Tajay.
Because while we're sitting here focusing on
such a fun player, man.
Derrick Henry up here, stiff arm of doom. Like I said, as I said before,
there's some lightning behind that thunder, right?
Right. So, like I said, even though with Tennessee Titans kind of going through what they're going through right now with the team and stuff like that, this is kind of what you would consider a trap game because, like you said, it's a point to prove. It's like you said, you got a rookie quarterback starting.
Oh, it absolutely is. Tennessee
and-
is easily the more desperate team here. You never want to
Right.
be going against a desperate team, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So that's kind of going back to what Juice said about as far as the Falcons taking care of their business. Just can't turn the ball over against a desperate team.
Exactly,
Yep.
because they will make you pay.
All right, Drew, what you got? What you got, man? I done segue to you, man. You got anything you want to speak of on this game? You got anything?
To be honest, just on the opposite side, I kind of give a key just for Tennessee. I really feel like y'all were saying this is a trap game, but just for our Falcons, I really feel like we kind of been an average team, and we like win a game, we lose a game, we win a game, we lose a game. So we're 4-3 at this moment. I'm waiting for this Falcons team to kind of go on a win streak, and I'm kind of looking for us to get more hungry as far as we gotta now take it to the next level. Like, yeah, we're the first in our NFC South, but I want to see if this team can start stringing together a couple wins, at this point in the season, because we're almost at the midway point and we see the improvement week in and week out. We know that we're a young football team, but I really feel like now it's time to take the next step. And I'm just looking at this Tennessee Titans team. We're just a better team overall. You seen Michael Irvin posted on Twitter, and I reposted it. Mike put it up there earlier where he was talking about the Buccaneers. They were talking about it on Undisputed, where it's like they just basically, he came out and said it. The Falcons just had a better roster, than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And looking at this roster, our Falcons roster from top to bottom, we're just a better team at this point. So if the Falcons lose this game, it's like we're playing down to our competition. No disrespect to the Tennessee Titans. They have Derrick Henry, and we know that Derrick Henry can go crazy, Super Saiyan at any moment. He's one of those guys that's just a crazy freak athlete. But it's time for the Falcons to start, winning the games that they're supposed to win. If you're a good football team, we know that it's any given Sunday, even any given Monday. But I want to see this team start putting together some wins, not just win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game.
And to that point, I think for both of these teams, it's definitely been a season so far of up and down, like just like how these teams have played every game. It's been very inconsistent, I feel like. And to your point, like that, this team kind of had a statement win last week against an opponent in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that kind of was looking to take sole possession of first place in that NFC South division. The Titans, who may not think that they're kind of out of this season yet, may look to this game as a way that they can get back into it. I wrote an article last week about how, of course, these two teams are in a little bit different spots, but similar at the same time. Whereas right now, the Falcons are the 29th ranked offense in terms of scoring. And so this Titans team could find a way to win with the pieces that they have this week. And then they play a Steelers team that is currently the 30th ranked in scoring and could get back to 4-4 just as easy as they could lose the next two. So I think even though they have kind of maybe started to sell some pieces, like there's still as much reason for them to turn it back around and could be 4-4 within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Hey, I'm about to say, let me go ahead and give shout out to the people that's in the chat right now. Like I said, we got 54 people in here. As the OG Sam would say, it should be 54 likes. But let me go ahead and shout out some of the people that's in here, man. Like I said, we got Workflow Dre, that's the peoples. You got Auntie Pam in the building, Floyd Donnelly, Dre Murphy, Eric Mack, Big Ant. Got Sonya, Floyd Donnelly. We got Titan Uprising. Shout out to him. He was a very special guest that we had on the Monday show. So definitely shout out to him as well. Mucho Grundy. Let's get a couple more. Pasta Girl, Lackenzie Mayweather, and we got the therapist ATL in the chat. Alberto Sandoval and Brian Peoples. All right. So
I got a question. I'm sorry. I got a question for JT. You got on the Mets jersey right now?
I do. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a diehard Mets fan, which is probably
All right, somebody snatch his
interesting.
mic. Just snatch this mic. Snatch this damn mic right
It's
now.
a-
You know what? Hold on,
Snatch
hold on,
it.
Matt.
I
Hold on,
am.
Matt.
Mike,
Hold
born
on,
in
Matt.
New
Mike.
Jersey,
We
family in
both
New Jersey,
can
right?
agree that we both enjoyed the Phillies taking that L last night.
Oh, I happily enjoyed it. Trey Turner going 0-11 with runners in scoring position in the NLCS. Could not enjoy that more. And at this point, kind of rooting for the Rangers to win because they did end up
You don't want
giving
the
us Ronald
Snakes to win?
Acuna's little brother, who
Not a Snakes fan?
looks to be very electric. So the Acuna brothers are going to be in the NL East for a long time to come. But I am the only currently. I do understand my place. Probably sitting here amongst 5 Atlanta Braves fans because Easton
I was
is
about to
also
say I'm a
an
Braves
Atlanta
fan.
Braves
Yeah, I
fan,
give him shit for this.
and
all the
I
time.
am the diehard Mets fan.
Oh,
So,
Jew's a red fan.
Yeah, I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, so don't feel bad, man. I feel
oh,
you,
okay,
man.
let's go. All right. Yeah.
Don't feel
Hey
bad.
man,
I'm with you,
hey,
man.
you got diversity in the baseball world on the chat room. All right, man. We got this next portion of the show. Like I said, he said it's a huge game for the Titans. If they lose, full sell mode. If they win, they might not
Oh,
trade him.
whoa.
What you
I
got?
gotta do this. I'm sorry, I gotta do this. See, I gotta ask you guys a question. Do you really believe in that trash Mike Vrabel? Like, be real. He's fucking trash. Y'all ain't gonna win a damn thing with it, dude. You know damn well. You guys know that. You're not gonna win with him. You do know that, right?
I mean, they've done a lot of winning with him already, so I don't really know
No,
what you're saying.
no. I said win. You know what we talking about. I'm not winning games. We talking about winning championships, all right? So
He
do
has
you
3
think
Super Bowl
you're
rings.
gonna win championships? Well, not games, okay?
He has 3 rings. He knows how to win championships.
Hey, that's Tom Brady rings. You had to slow us to get it.
Just saying, man. He's caught multiple touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and he played defense.
I don't like Vrabel because he went to Ohio State.
That's fair. That's based. I hate Ohio.
All right, my.
I mean, you hate Mike Vrabel. You realize your team's coach is his protege. So,
Well,
don't play that. No. I know my history. I know my history.
Oh
if
Lord.
I
you
know my
both
history.
those
No,
coaches,
y'all.
you
see-
see Mike Vrabel and Arthur Smith on a daily basis.
but
Arthur
the thing
Smith's
is,
entire
Arthur Smith
personality at the
learned from-
podium, like all of it, is it's Mike.
See, you're so lucky you're a Brave fan.
He learned Easter. He learned from Ken Wisenhunt. He learned from Mike Mularkey. He praised Mike Mularkey a lot.
Sure,
A
yeah.
lot.
I mean, he was under multiple coaches, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talk about what coaching tree is Arthur Smith from? The Mike Vrabel coaching tree. It's always going to be the case.
No, it's not.
I mean, you can say no, but it's true. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
You can not like the fact, but it is a fact.
No, we're showing good old Southern hospitality. That's
nah, but like you said,
I will say that one of the best games that Mike Vrabel has ever coached was last season when Malik Willis took the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs to overtime and almost won that game. So it's I wouldn't count him out this
Mike
week specifically.
He's one of the best coaches in the league in the past 4 or 5 years. He's had a really poor stretch recently, and you can say maybe that's the coaching, maybe it's the players, maybe it's both. Like, I don't know, but if you take the entirety of his career, he's a very good coach. It's obvious. I don't know. It's fascinating that you guys hate Mike Vrabel. I think the consensus among Titans fans, like, they're really fond of Arthur Smith and they're fond of the Falcons in general. Obviously, NFC, AFC, so it's not like they're constantly playing or anything. I think that helps there not be much bad blood. And when Arthur Smith was here calling offense, that was when the Titans were at their best. Those couple of years where Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry were a real threat in the NFL, and they were winning the division. And so Titans fans are really fond of Arthur Smith. I'm surprised you guys hate Mike Vrabel so much.
I don't hate him because of his coaching abilities. I just don't like him because he's a product of Ohio State.
That if that's your only reason, I really can't fault you for it, Don.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I cannot
stand Ohio State. So
you agree? He was born and raised, not born and raised, born in New Jersey, raised in Ohio, and he hates Ohio State.
Good.
I do.
Look, common sense. You have common sense.
Does that mean you're a Michigan fan, or you?
I am a
individually hate it?
huge
Yes,
Michigan
yes.
fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I am a huge Michigan fan.
All his favorite players in the league went to the University of damn Michigan. Yes.
Okay. my mom and her family are from Michigan, so like we've always been Michigan supporters in our household. So she's the one that indoctrinated the hate for the state of Ohio, and in particular Ohio State, into me.
Hell to the victors. Yes.
All right. Like I said, we got this portion of the show. Like I said, we got a couple questions for y'all as far as pertaining to like how long y'all been fans and like who are some of your favorite players from the Tennessee Titans that made you be like, yes, I'm a Titan fan because of this guy.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
who's your favorite Titans player?
So this is interesting because like you guys, obviously this is a fan show, and that's awesome. I cover the team. I'm not necessarily a fan of the team. I was born and raised in Tennessee and grew up a fan of the Titans, but like in the capacity of my job doing this professionally, I'm not a huge fan. But growing up, being my dad was a season ticket holder, we went to the games. Like I'm very familiar with the team. JT he pulls for them now that I've gotten him, and I've indoctrinated him a little bit on the show to root for the team. He's realized that at the very least, it's in the best interest of our business for them to be good and be interesting.
I know
right?
every
no
player.
one wants to listen to a team that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, of my childhood, I mean, it's hard not to immediately go to CJ2K just because of how phenomenal and electric he was. Guys like Kevin Byard were a player that I really enjoyed watch play for a long time. If you go back farther, like the Kyle Vanden Bosch's, VY was really exciting as a rookie, and then that didn't work out, but he had a really exciting year. Those are the couple that come to mind for me.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I would say that the guys that I've enjoyed covering the most so far, at least this year.
I've left the modern era open for you, JT. Who are your favorite?
I know, right?
Players?
Because currently on the beat now for a year and a half, 2 years at max. So I would say my favorite to talk to, especially as a new player this year, is Aziz Alshire, linebacker, knows ball. He's a great dude, like very, very knowledgeable and just a good guy to talk to. Personal favorite because I think he has the potential to be really, really good. Little old tight end, or old, I should say, little sophomore year tight end in Chigoziem Okonkwo for the Titans is probably my favorite player. I still think that kid can ball out. But yeah, so far hasn't really worked out this year, but definitely my favorite player to cover. And then another player that's just fun to watch.
Okay.
Hey, y'all ain't said no Steve McNair, no Eddie George.
So I mean, McNair and George were their last season, because I'm 23, I'm about to be 24 years old. So like their last season with the team was right at the beginning of me really paying attention to sports. So absolutely, like that tandem, I when I was starting to pay attention to them, they were kind of over the hill at that point a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they're legends here. And, I've I didn't ever get a chance to talk to Steve before he died, but I've talked to Eddie George before, and he's the nicest guy. And so those guys are awesome.
Okay.
All right. Mike, you want to go ahead and kick it off? Titan player that you enjoy watching?
Not really. I just don't want to be. I don't want to be predictable. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just say no. I'll say this. I'll say this though. It wasn't a Titan, but he was a Houston Oiler, and Bruce Matthews.
Good answer.
I love Bruce Matthews. He was just, for one, he didn't. What time I watched him?
He was
I
a
was
Titan.
able to watch it. He was a Titan.
He was an Oiler, and then he was a Titan for a couple of years. Yeah,
he played for 20 years.
Okay. So
he didn't play.
But I watched him. He was the Oilers. But
right.
I just love gritty offensive linemen. And he
Yep.
didn't at the time I was watching. He was kind of on the downside of his career. Still effective, but I just love offensive linemen. They get dirty. They do like you know he's not super athletic, but somehow he just finds a way to be effective. So Bruce Matthews as an offensive lineman, and plus when John Madden is giving you flowers, I mean, how can you not like him? That's the thing for me. I love Bruce Matthews
Mm,
from the
good
Houston.
answer.
All right, Jew, what you got?
Well, already mentioned his name, the late Steve McNair. God rest his soul. To me, he was a guy that was kind of underrated. Um, almost won a Super Bowl. I think a yard away in that Rams versus Titans Super Bowl, but
Yep.
he was just one of those guys. When you talk about
Kevin
an arm,
Dyson.
yeah, a cannon. That dude had a cannon. Like he was one of the first guys, as far as African American quarterbacks who could do it from the pocket, could also scramble.
Yep.
And he was just a hard guy to bring down. Like he was similar to like a Ben Roethlisberger. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't sack that dude, and he was because of how big he was, strong, and he was just smart, very cerebral. Went to Alcorn State, which is a smaller, historically black college. So, I just got so much respect for Steve McNair. So I definitely got to say Steve McNair. Just watching those Titans teams, him getting them to the Super Bowl, and just his career as a whole, I think he was kind of one of the guys that's kind of forgotten when you talk about African American quarterbacks, and one of the guys that was actually not only a scrambler but a guy who could do it from the pocket. Even using his athleticism. So I definitely got to go with Steve McNair.
Oh, I thought he was about to say somebody else. I was about to say, "Gee, don't you do that."
Remember the first co MVP in NFL history.
I know, right? I think the first and only, I believe, right? Or yeah, pretty sure.
All right, Don, what you got?
My favorite Titans player, I'm gonna go with now this guy, man. He's a great humanitarian off the field, but on the field, he was a dog, man. Like he was the reason. He was the main reason why Derrick Henry became the Derrick Henry. All right. He was also he played a pivotal role on y'all offense. But I don't know why he's not there anymore. But the guy I'm gonna say that I love the most that wore that Tennessee Titans uniform is Taylor Lewan.
The boy.
I love Taylor Lewan.
Great guy.
Yes.
Great player.
Yes.
I'm just waiting for him to finish it up. Why?
I'm done.
I was waiting for the punchline myself. I'm surprised.
Ain't no punchline. I'm dead serious. I love
I'm
Taylor
waiting for
Lewan.
the punchline myself. That's
I love Taylor Lewan. Like Steve, of course I love.
Is there a particular reason why you like him?
You already know why.
That's the
Yeah.
Odd.
But he's not a he's a Pro Bowl All Pro tackle. What you mean?
Yeah, great player.
Ain't nobody say he wasn't an all pro. We were just waiting for you just to say he was.
I'm just waiting for the punchline.
Like, look, like yes, he went to the University of Michigan.
He like the church lady, and you know how the church lady when they having dinner, she pull out the hot sauce. I'm just waiting for him to pull out the hot sauce and put it on the chicken and put it on the food. That's done right.
Big Hassan Haskins fan too, Don.
What'd you say?
Big Hassan Haskins.
Oh yeah,
fan
I
too.
love Hassan Haskins. I'm just ready for y'all to like utilize him in a good way, man. Because I'm thinking like when y'all drafting him, I'm thinking like, okay, he's gonna take over for Derrick Henry if y'all decide to move on from him.
Right.
I have a question. I know that we're interviewing you guys, but no, is there anybody from Michigan you don't like?
Is there anybody from Michigan I don't like?
No.
Well,
No.
Well, I
took too long.
At one point I didn't like Tom Brady because he beat us in the Super Bowl. So
I mean, that's obvious right there. So But yeah, man. Hey, man.
I need
This
some
is off the
alcohol.
rails, man.
I need something to drink. I really
Hey, you about to drive this man to drink on the show, man? Hey, no, that's my job. But
That's my opinion, though. I like Taylor Lewan. Like, what's the problem with that? Like,
look,
I
No
do
problem.
like
ain't
Steve
no
McNair.
look. It
Steve
ain't
McNair is like Steve McNair is like in my top 10 favorite quarterbacks of all time. I'm not even gonna lie to you on that. I did like Dyson, y'all, the receiver that played for the
Kevin
Titans.
Dyson.
He was, he was the Music City Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
People don't remember that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like Bruce Matthews too, but you took that from me. So, but I took some keys from you, so I guess that's payback.
But nah. Taylor Wan's a hell of a tackle though. I ain't gonna tell no lie. That one the nastiest buzz to come out the draft that year.
I wanted him over Jake Matthews. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Interesting. Hey, I look. You couldn't go wrong with either way. I didn't know at the damn time, so it was like it is what it is. But Tennessee Titan player, Jew already said Steve McNair. Like I said, that's honestly my favorite quarterback of all time outside of Matt Ryan. But Javon Curse was a guy for me that I used
Freak.
When we're talking about edge rushers, and this is for the young folk that may not have watched this, everybody knows the type of edge rushers we got in today's game. He just said it. They called him the freak for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then, remember, this is right around them times where when the Falcons had Michael Vick, there were certain defensive ends that used to give him trouble. The freak was one of them.
Yep.
Simeon Rice was another, and Julius Peppers. These were the prototype edge rushers in the league that we're seeing right now. He was like I said, he was just fast.
Just the best athlete on the field. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Yeah.
Coming out of Florida, everybody. I think he did go to Florida, right?
He went to Florida.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. I just want to make sure I got that right because
he was on the '96 championship team, and then they drafted him in '99. Well, yeah, they drafted him in '99. That year they went to the Super Bowl. He played a pivotal role on this '99 Titans team.
Right, but like you said, just big. Like I said, he was the complete pass rusher. It's just that later in his career, the injuries started taking a toll, and it was unfortunate, but.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, like you said, if you want to talk about prototypical edge rushers, he was one of those guys. But I'm glad Don said something about that 99 team. What do you think the thought of Tennessee just coming up 1 yard short in that Super Bowl? Because even though I was a youngin', I lost lollipops on that game.
Yeah, I mean it's a very famous photo. It is PTSD here in Nashville. I'm told that I watched that game, but I was I think 1.5, 2 years old. But I've certainly gone back and watched it many times, and it is the heartbreak that now almost 25 years later still kind of haunts the city a little bit. Yeah. Kind of like Atlanta, you get so close to a ring, but not quite.
Whoa! This is about you guys. What?
I'm just saying, two teams that got real close but didn't bring home the hardware.
Hey, look!
Literally, both teams were a yard away. If we make that stop,
that's why I drew the parallel. Really... You got mad in there. It's a lot of similarity there. I'm just saying, man.
Right, but like I said, the reason why I asked that too is because it's kind of letting folks know that, like I say, even when you get there, it's hard to get back, and like you say,
hard.
And you have to have a level of stability on your team to at least get there. Tennessee
got to get pretty lucky. I mean, decent, relatively lucky. There's some elements of luck involved. Who's the healthiest team at the end of the year? Who do you have to play in the playoffs? All of that. But yeah, it's the beauty of the sport.
Right. And like I said, it was unfortunate. But like you said, man, just the consistency, like you said, of Steve McNair and seeing that offense, Eddie George, Chris Brown, like you said, Chris Johnson, DeMarco Murray, Lindell White,
Lorenzo Neal.
Lorenzo Neal.
Lorenzo
Great
Neal.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
Great answer.
Oh boy, Lorenzo Neal. Yeah. You might well just lay down and just get in the position if he's coming towards you.
Business decision.
I'll take it.
Right.
Cause that dude got one of them looks where he look like, hey, hi. Well, if
Yeah.
you see him running towards you, no, you better get in fetal position.
Don't move out the way like Cam Newton.
Oh boy, Cam Newton ran the hell out the way in that Super Bowl, boy. Nobody say. All right, people, man. Hey, look. We got the Q&A portion here. If y'all got any questions for the for Easton and JT in the chat, y'all go ahead and ask them right now. Mucho said, let me see. Mucho said that Super Bowl was his favorite all-time Super Bowl.
It was a great game. Great game.
It was. I mean,
Greatest show on turf. McNair and those boys.
I'm gonna ask everybody a question here, and I'm glad you just said that. And this is my conspiracy theory brain kicking in. If Tennessee gets that 1 yard, do we consider the Rams the greatest show on turf?
That's yeah, I think so. I think it would be similar to the way we talk about the perfect Patriots team that wasn't perfect, in the end. Like I still think we would recognize the greatness of that offense. But it's a good question.
I disagree because the thing is, because the 2016 Atlanta Falcons had a historic offense and we lost against the Patriots and don't nobody really talk about that. Matter of fact, they even go on the limb of one of the greatest quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, who won the MVP that year. They feel like, okay, well, it was a farce.
Yes.
You at the city of Atlanta. He's one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play the game.
You laughing this serious.
No, I believe you.
All right. So Albert here asked, is there some Falcon players that y'all say that y'all like watching?
Yeah, and this is embarrassing because I've forgotten his name. Who was the running back who that 1 year, if you had him on your team in fantasy, you killed everybody? So he had like one.
Michael Turner.
I don't think so.
Devontae Freeman.
It was Freeman. It was Freeman. It's Devontae Freeman.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
I know it was one of those guys.
He was one of my favorites to watch run the ball, and that was in my formative teenage years where I started really dialing in on the NFL, and I was like, this guy rocks. So he's the one that comes to mind for me immediately. Okay. Julio Jones, obviously one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game. Just awesome in that way. JT's probably got a lot more because were the Falcons your first love? Were they your first team, JT?
Yeah, so like growing up, when I was growing up, like I just like from like age like 4 to 10, I was a Falcons fan for whatever reason. So like I got
the team
some
you picked, right?
It was just the team I picked when I was young. Let's see. So with that being said, my favorite or the all-time Falcon, it has to be Falcons legend Felipe Franks. Just kidding.
Tight end quarterback.
Tight end quarterback Felipe Franks. I think Roddy White is always going to be one that sticks with me. Roddy White was always a guy that I never thought, like, for as good as he was, got the credit that he deserved for a lot of those Falcons teams for a lot of years. I think Vic Beasley, when like in his first couple seasons, was a dog. Like he was a big part of that defense that made them great. And then of course he goes to Tennessee.
Didn't he win the tackle title 1 year?
I think
he won
so.
He was a sack leader in 16. Yep.
Or sack leader. Oh, it was a sack title. Dang.
And
then
he
the Titans traded for him and he just phoned it in. It was a disaster. I remember. Yeah.
You can blame Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn and develop him.
When he was, and then one other guy I'll just throw out there from like the 2010s, that I really liked watching on defense. Keanu Neal, I think in his early years was also like a really stalwart secondary guy that I liked watching.
Okay. I like that. All right, people. Y'all got any more questions? Albert here said, yeah, that team was crazy with Bruce Holt. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm like this, man. If Tennessee wins that Super Bowl, I don't think we consider them the greatest show on turf. They got great players, but I don't think they get that nickname. They should have renamed them from the greatest show on turf to the Mike Jones Rams, because that
Mike Jones, hey, it's funny because Mike Jones, he coached at my alma mater at Lincoln University a few years ago. So.
Dope.
Okay. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and wind it down for the night. Fellas, we definitely appreciate y'all tuning in with us as well as everybody tuning in as well. Let you go ahead plug yourselves before we get up on out of here.
Yeah, check out our work on social media at Easton Freeze, JT_Runke. Our show, the Hot Read Podcast, you can find on social media at Hot Read Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You also can find it on YouTube on Broadway Sports Media's YouTube page. We do shows 3 times a week. Probably during the season, Atlanta Falcons fans wouldn't be huge fans of the show. But in the off season, once the draft comes around, we spend January through May doing draft talk in general, which applies to any team. So we do a lot of deep dives with folks in the draft community, and it's really we nerd out hard on it for like 4 months, and we go deep. So if folks are interested in learning about the draft, check out the show in the spring.
Hey man, shoot! Hey, we love the draft, and a lot of the fans that watch our shows here, they'll watch everybody, man. They don't discriminate teams. They don't discriminate teams over here, except for the Saints. They can't stand it.
There you go. That's it.
But all right, JT, how you want to plug yourself, man?
Yeah, everything else you can find all of my work. I write at least one article, if not 2 a week, on the Titans. And when we get down the draft time like that, we do a lot of in-depth deep dives into the drafts over on BroadwaySportsMedia.com. And then also, Hot Read Podcast, as well as I do a fantasy football show with my co-host Calvin Wright. It's called The Prophet Fantasy Football Show on all Spotify, Apple, all platforms like that.
All right. Well, we can definitely go
make Calvin Reedy. I was like, man, what is wrong with you? You gonna do a fantasy football with a criminal?
Man, don't speak to me on fantasy football right now. I'm still mad.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about any fantasy football.
I'm gonna tell this in front of everybody. I'm gonna say this story again. I thought I retired from playing fantasy football, but came to find out that I didn't. And nobody told me about a draft. And I ended up with one of the worst rosters that I could think of. But surprisingly, I'm winning right now. But you can't. How can you ask yourself and say, how the hell you winning with Josh Dobbs and Zach Wilson as your quarterbacks?
That's tough, man. I think you're gonna have to start heading to the phones trying to make some trades there. I would not.
Nope.
I would
get to the phones.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Don't nobody want nothing. I'm trying. I'm giving away skill players. Nobody like, nah, we good. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But
we could definitely gonna be linking up with y'all during the off season, because over here we do a lot of draft talk as well. So it'd be good to try to do a couple of shows around that time to collaborate on.
Sure, man.
Oh yeah, hold on, wait a minute, Albert, you ain't worth the day. Like I said, the bad part about it is I got the second best record in the whole damn league. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. But hey, look, man, we had fun tonight, man. Like I said, y'all definitely make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the Heavy Hitters Live. 6-Man K Styles, Mad Mike Sports, Utah Sports, and the Don is in the building. So until next time, we ain't here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, dig it.
You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the hell up out of here.
Jew, take us out. Oh, y'all thought I froze for a second. No, I didn't.
I'm like,
No.
I got a whole outro and everything. I love it.
Hey, man.